All right, we're here today with the Alteri Podcast, and I'm here with Jeff Hart. Jeff Hart, in case you don't know who he is, you've been living under a bridge because he's the founder and CEO of Cansure Underwriting. Cansure is the largest MDA in Canadian history to date. And guess what? He sold it, he's moved on, and he's back in the business. I can't wait to pick this guy's brain. Louise, let's do this. Jeff, thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So, real quick, just give us a brief insight to your, insurance background pre-Cansure. What was that all about?
Yeah, I've been in the business for 28 years. Both my mom and dad were in the business. I started a little brokerage out in White Rock as my first step into the insurance industry.
You're kidding?
No.
You started one out there?
Out in White Rock, yeah. I was
No way.
volunteering, doing some ICBC insurance as a young guy, and got my feet wet in the insurance industry out in White Rock, and enjoyed it, but had an eye to, at some point in my career, try to get to the underwriting side and understand sort of the insurance business and underwriting and the technical side of the business. And so
Wow.
At that point, I found myself going into an insurance company, Sovereign General, and learning the insurance underwriting side.
Wow. Sovereign General?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 4 or 5 years, did some property liability underwriting, learned from some great experts, senior people in the business. And I just love...
Quick question on that, though.
Yeah.
So the broker side,
Yeah.
did you, because I'm not afraid to say it, I hate Autoplan, I hate ICBC.
Yeah.
Did you veer out of that?
Yeah, I hated it.
There you go. See that?
Well, we all start as ICBC.
Yeah. In BC, if you don't know BC, we all start here. This is what we do. Well, that's good to hear. So, but I mean, in that brokerage, did you veer out at all, or did you just say
No, I was primarily just doing ICBC. I was doing the batches and doing some personal lines. And again, my first entrance into the insurance industry, but realized maybe I need to get outside of
fair enough.
this.
Yeah, Sovereign General, good for you. So here we are. You've started a brokerage in White Rock. You veered into Sovereign General, which is, for listeners who don't know, is a very well-respected insurance company. And then what the heck happens here?
What happened there? Well, I spent my 4 or 5 years at Sovereign and learned the technical underwriting side of the business, and started to feel that I had a desire to be an entrepreneur and own my own business.
Yeah.
And like, how the heck am I going to do this? And at that point, I was a young guy and didn't have my university degree. So realized I probably needed to go back and get my business degree. So that's what I did. I actually left Sovereign General and went back to university pretty much full-time, taking 4 or 5 classes a semester, but at the same time working. And so I actually got out of the company side and went back to the broking side, and worked at a small little brokerage in Port Moody where I live, and was a producer, account executive.
Are they still in existence
They
today?
are. Yeah, they
Nice.
are. They are
Awesome.
today.
I love to hear it.
And so again, I'm back to the broking side, but allowed me the flexibility of being a producer to get up to school and do my classes, take calls from clients, and when I'm in a lecture hall, that I run out of the lecture hall and say I got a client calling me, I got to go take a call.
Look at this.
I was the old guy on campus, like, who's this old guy at 25, 26 years old doing his university degree? But
The guy's in accounting and he leaves.
Yeah,
He could take a call.
what's he doing? I'm trying to sell insurance, right? So,
Talk about an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah.
Luis, the guy's in university and he's taking calls outside the class to place business.
Very focused, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's awesome.
So that was a different time of my life for sure. And at that time, literally the last year of university, I got married. And
Wow,
so
look at that.
Got married, finished university, and was working at a little brokerage in Port Moody. And so I was busy at the time, but always had the idea or thought that it was all for a good reason, because I was going to, at some point, have the experience, expertise to start my own business.
I love that. So you get the schooling behind you. What I want to know is where did and back it up as much as you want. Where did Cansure come from?
So when I left the brokerage in Port Moody and finished my degree, my father was on the MGA side, Sports Can Insurance Consultants, which you might or might not know. They were the MGA space. It was an intriguing opportunity for me to go there. I was always reluctant to go there because it was my old man's shop. So that's why I purposely went and did my own thing for 6-7 years and get my own experience and get my business degree, because I didn't want to come in as dad's son and get into the business. And so, but anyway, I felt confident enough that it was my time to get into Sports Can and experience the MGA business. And so I did.
You were underwriting for them, Sports Can?
I was underwriting as a junior intermediate sort of underwriter. And I enjoyed it. And I love that side of the business where you get to do the sales and marketing side, but also the technical underwriting side of the business and managing your portfolio. And I realized, like, Jack, man, I just love this business. But really my expertise is on the commercial side, commercial property and liability.
Okay.
Because Sports Can was more on the entertainment, sports, leisure business. And so at the time, I said, you know what, this is a great concept. At that time, back in 01, 02, there wasn't a ton of MGAs out there, right? And so I'm like, you know what? So I pitched it to my dad's partner, Conrad Spears, and say, you know what, why don't we create
hey, can I just say, what a name. Louise, Conrad Spears.
Conrad Spears. He's an icon. He's a legend.
How do you not know that guy, right?
I know.
It's like Chili Palmer.
Yeah, absolutely. He was an absolute legend in the business. And
there you go.
And I pitched the idea to him that, you know, why don't we set up another MGA and focus on the P&C side of the business. That's where my expertise is, and that's what
So you veered out from your old man to compete against your old man?
Yeah, kind of. Right?
He's going to sink him.
I promised I wouldn't get into the sports, entertainment, leisure side.
Exactly.
So it was, so I, and at the time I kind of felt like, again, I wanted to do something on my own, and I felt that it was right to do it with Conrad and just to have that separation from family, because I just felt that need to show maybe the community or the industry that I can do this on my own, right? And so anyway, Conrad agreed, and in 2002, 2003, we started the MGA Cansure underwriting.
Wow.
And it was me, literally in one little office, a shared office that we had with Sports Can. Conrad was kind enough to allow me to start Cansure in the Sports Can office.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we had the two MGAs under really one roof, two brands, and I was actually wearing at the time two hats. I was actually a Sports Can employee, but I also launched Cansure at the same time.
That's funny.
And I started on my own, one fax machine, and away we went, right? So
you know what's crazy about this? So the reason I think your story is so, I gotta say, not only inspiring, because, as sons, we're all sons. Louise and I have talked about this a lot with his father and his father-in-law. Had some comments from you, obviously, and even myself. My father's an entrepreneur. He's in the construction industry. I was very able to go into that industry if I wanted to, but of course, something in us, and we're just speaking because we're both men, but maybe there's something in us that just says we got to leave. This is comfortable and this could be great, but we got to leave.
Totally.
We got to do something.
Yeah. I needed to find my own path, right? And I wanted to sort of define my own success, and wanted to have that sense that I accomplished something on my own.
Do you have that now?
I do. Yeah, I honestly do. I mean, I say that without Conrad at the time. I mean, he's an icon, a legend in the business. And so without his sort of partnership at the time when we started Cansure, it would have been difficult.
I mean, it takes a village, right?
For sure.
But as long as it's your village.
Yeah. And he allowed me to run the business, create the relationships, the culture of Cansure at the time.
If you don't mind me asking, when you started that and you were working out of that office, creating Cansure, how old were you that year?
27 years old.
Wow. Absolutely amazing. Good for you, man.
No, I would never turn back. I mean, it was such a great experience. I mean, you push forward, and we started Cansure in 02, 03, and, God love him, Conrad passed in 06, 07, and a partner of mine, and I'm still a young guy at that point in time. I'm thinking, geez, now we've got this Cansure thing going. I'm 100% all in on Cansure. So I left Sports Can and said, I'm going to spread my wings and thank you, but I'm all in with Cansure. And so when Conrad passed, there was some question marks as far as, how is the business going to carry on, and the continuity.
Oh, I bet, because you're a young guy.
I was a young guy.
People saw him as
he was the guy, right?
Yeah, the god.
He was the figurehead of the firm at the time, and the relationships into the Lloyd's market, and questions whether we would get the support from London, the broker support. How are we going to carry on? And thankfully we did. And
but
again, that was another
But I mean, the message there is you figured it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you were passionate about it, and you were all in.
Yeah,
it wasn't a side gig.
For sure. And the reality is I knew I could do it, because reality, I was doing it every single day. Conrad was the figurehead, but he allowed me to do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
I was always concerned whether externally would people see that the business was going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I had confidence in myself, but I wasn't sure that our brokers or our carrier partners would see it that way.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, in the insurance space especially, because there's guys that have been around forever. They have these names.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, Jeff, you're one of them now.
I know, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to just give a quick little blurb here. For those of you who don't know, Cansure is, I'm pretty sure, I don't know numbers here, but I think without question the largest MGA in Canada at the moment. Is that not
If they're
true?
not number one, they're close to, for sure.
Yeah. And somebody that everybody, almost is handcuffed to force to use because of just their reach and their incredible product line. And I know you sold it and you left it, so there's a thing there, but you got to be so proud of what's standing today.
For sure. I mean, yeah, I'm back in the business, and are we competitors? Sure, to a certain extent, but there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about Cansure and what we created, and definitely proud of what they're doing, and have a lot of good friends that are still there, and wish them all the best and all the success in the world, for sure.
Let's talk about the ones you don't wish the best on.
Nah.
No, what I was going to say is that, going back to my earlier point, the reason why I find your story so inspiring is because as you build a business, in the insurance business, everybody says the exact same thing. It's, build your business, hang on, this multiple, this is what people are going to pay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's great and it's fine. Hopefully it comes to fruition, lovely, whatever. But it gets a little bit old, and sometimes you question yourself if you're doing the right thing. Every one step forward, sometimes this tidal wave pushes you back and you got to grab the boogie board again. I see your story and what you went through in this one little room inside this other MGA, and you sold the biggest MGA in Canada. So, A, congratulations. And B, what was running through your mind when you sold that beast away? Just be open and tell people what was going on.
Yeah, obviously a whole range of emotions going through that process. Brutally honest and being transparent. Starting it, we weren't sure how it was going to end. We had some things that we wanted to take care of as far as some of the shareholders and partners in the business, but we entered the process with an open mind. And
was it a knock at the door?
No. We ran a process. We hired a third party to represent us, and we went to market on it. And so we went through that process, which was a learning curve for all of us. But ultimately, as you know, we landed in Hub. It's interesting. I always had a standing agreement with Chad Robertson. We had a dinner as a broker MGA relationship prior to us going to market with Cansure in 2014. I think we had dinner. It's probably 2011, 2012. And he said to me, he says, Jeff, if you ever decide to sell Cansure, you have to promise me that you'll come to us as a potential buyer.
Right.
And we shook hands and agreed that obviously I would.
Yeah.
And through that process, even though we hired a third party to manage our interest through the process, I always had dialogue with Chad on the side.
I mean, hey, you know what?
And that
That's
was just
totally
my word.
fine.
And
That's totally fine.
And it was a handshake that we had, and it's
Yeah.
something that I wanted to honor. And so yeah, it was an interesting process for sure.
So why?
Why sell?
Yeah.
To your point earlier, well, number one, we had some partners and shareholders that we need to take care of, that they maybe want to get into retirement.
Okay.
Number two, to your point, that, you know, we felt that are there some challenges coming towards the MGA space that might impede our ability to grow the business. You got direct writers, you've got digital coming into the space, you've got acquisition cost concerns, you've got, you know, brokers opening up their own MGAs, multiples are at an all-time high. Maybe all things are aligned. Maybe we need to have a look at this and go through the process and see what happens. Maybe see what's out there.
So here we are, like call it 8, 9 years later or something.
Yeah.
Are those like anxiety provoking triggers still here?
No.
No, because I think they are. Because everybody when we talk to is always like, listen, MGAs are starting their own brokerages. Insurance companies are buying brokerages. Multiples are at an all-time high. Like, does this go away?
Well, I say no when I looked at the potential threats that would maybe push me to the point where I felt maybe we need to take some chips off the table and sell.
I see.
Is what I thought as perceived threats and concerns to the business are not there right now.
Right.
MGAs are more relevant today than they were 6-7 years ago. There's not that dark cloud coming that we're not going to be useful to our brokers.
Yeah.
It's quite the opposite, to be honest with you. So I probably misread the market there. That was my number one concern is, man, oh man, like we're a third party. What if the market just doesn't need MGAs anymore, right?
Yeah.
Insurance companies start figuring it out. They start sort of, putting their
Jeez.
toes into our space.
So you obviously did very well with the sale. All I would ask you is that, looking back on the sale and maybe the process, do you have any regrets?
No. Well, that's a tough question.
Like, I guess, would you still love to own Cansure today?
Yeah, if I could rewind things and I know what I know now through the process, there's ways that I probably could achieve certain things without selling Cansure.
And that would be good.
And that would be good. Yeah.
Why is that good?
Because I'm back in the business. I didn't want to leave the business. I left for... I kind of missed that independence, that entrepreneurial thing that I felt I had, despite the fact that Hub were great owners, treated us very, very well. There was something missing when I sold. And so if I didn't sell, I probably could have recreated a structure that could have taken care of some of our partner shareholders, maybe took some chips off the table to monetize some of our value, but still maintain control. And so maybe the best of both worlds, have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
But I say that, and
but you got a big old fat cake.
We did okay. we did okay.
We did okay. Yeah.
And it was an opportunity for me to take some time away from the business and recharge, reconnect with the family and the kids, and really think about what the next chapter of my life would be, whether that was coming back in the business or doing something totally different.
So here we are. You sold Cansure, tremendous success story start to finish. If you don't know it, then you should know it. And you exited successfully and you came back. And now that you're back, do you have a different focus, a different agenda? Have you learned things that you're doing differently now?
For sure. We're... With Cansure, I was trying to build Cansure because I had to build Cansure because that was my livelihood and I needed a paycheck and build value and again, truly enjoyed it. But, the second time around, we definitely have learned things from our past of what to do and not to do, from an underwriting standpoint and a portfolio standpoint, but also just ease of doing business.
Yeah.
We've come back because we want to come back. We don't have to come back. We love the business.
And can I just say that's a very scary place for your competitors to be coming from, to not have to come back. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe, but we're having a lot of fun, and there's this part of Velo's start right now is the most I enjoy: building a business, building a team,
Cool.
Building capacity, being an entrepreneur.
Let me ask you something, Jeff. We had this conversation with Luis right outside. You were just thinking of it, right? Yeah. We were outside. We were just saying, like, Luis told me, I didn't say this to him. He said to me, he's like, well, I was telling him the story about Cansure in like 30 seconds. And he's like, well, you know what? It takes one person to build it, and it takes another person to maintain it.
You're right on.
And I honestly, I'm an entrepreneur, never thought of that. I knew who I was as soon as you said it, but I had never really thought of that.
It's like your skills, right? Some people, they have skills for build, others to maintain.
I'm not the maintain guy.
Yeah, me too.
Right now, he's a friend, Cam Copeland, running Cansure, is the guy to maintain Cansure.
Seems like a tremendous fit.
He's a great operator. For me, I'm the builder. And
Indeed.
It's but I've learned that I didn't know that about myself when I was there.
When you're starting it and you built it, you're like, no, if anyone's going to do this thing, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When sometimes you have to be like, hey, you know what? This is where it's
But
at.
I've learned my limitations, and I know where my strengths are. And to manage an organization that's got 200 plus people and hundreds of millions of dollars of premium probably isn't where my strength is. I'm not that maintain guy. I'm the build guy. I'm the entrepreneur. Create ideas, build a team, build culture. And that's what we're doing at Velo today.
Indeed. So wrap it up with this, Jeff. What, aside from the business thing, just to loop it into our last episode here, because I'd love to know someone's, like, your stature, what your answer would be. You're building this thing like Cansure, this beast, and you got a young growing family. You're married. What's some advice you can give some entrepreneurs out there of how to maintain and grow, strengthen that relationship with your wife and your family as you're doing this?
Balance. Balance. But, I don't know if there's an easy answer. Because
balance is the right answer.
Balance is the right answer. But to be honest with you, early days as an entrepreneur, you have to give up something. You do. And it is that time.
I love that
at home.
The honesty
and
there.
It is, and it's the time with the kids and the wife. And I look back and we've had a lot of success, but a lot of that success is from the strength of my wife being at home with the kids and being patient and with me. Being not present and coming home at 6:00, having dinner and then going back to the den at 8:00 to 12:00 every night, right? And just grinding early days. And that's what we had to do. But she was understanding and she allowed. And she ultimately, I didn't appreciate it at the time, but she probably recognized what we were trying to do as a family. I always thought it was my goal, my responsibility to build the firm, not necessarily maybe appreciating that she was actually a partner in that process, taking care of the kids, right? But there was one little story, and it hit home with me. And it was a point of reckoning for me. Is I came home late one night from Cansure.
Very unusual at the
early
time.
days. Yeah, very unusual. And I missed dinner. Very unusual.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
And my wife and two boys were sitting at the dinner table. And I come in, and, of course, they're just finishing up. And my older boy, he looks at me, and he grabs his placemat, and he looks at me, and he throws the placemat on the ground. And he says, well, Daddy doesn't come home for dinner. Right. And that was a moment that I will never forget. And I'm
really?
thinking, geez, man, like the impact early on. I mean, he was a young guy. He's probably 4 or 5 years old at the time. And, that sticks with me today. And tried to find that balance at that time. Difficult. But ultimately was part of that process in decision-making is maybe it's time to exit myself in 2014.
You know what, man? You built such an amazing thing that a lot of us entrepreneurs take that time away from the family spinning. You were so focused and you built such an amazing thing. A lot of people take that time away, and it's not that, I mean, Louise, it's not that focused. It's not that, we see businesses all the time and we're like, what are they doing? Like, it's like somebody's behind that operation and they're taking time away from their family and they're doing all these things. mad credit to you for doing it. What you did is, I totally agree with you. The balance is the right answer, but the actual answer
is not balance.
It's not. You can't.
No, it's not. It's not. It's not one or the other, but it's not balance.
Yeah.
Or else you're not building a business.
And you're just to highlight one of the key words you said there is your partner. I mean, the partner you chose obviously is like bang on. Like she supported you.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very tolerant, patient.
Yeah, absolutely.
Late nights.
Very cool.
Long days.
All right, guys. Listen, this is Jeff Hart, founder of Cansure, sold for kabillions. He'll tell us when this ends. And Jeff, honestly, thank you so much for sitting down with us, man. Seriously.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Let's get the clink in. That's Jeff Hart.